paper, and on its front page it says, these are the headlines: resident doctors to lose 7 days pay to strike. Resident doctors to lose 7 days pay to strike. That's on page 4, and the writer says, no work, no pay rule stays. You are interested, pick up a copy of the Nation newspaper. 342 billion naira recovered from NIRSAL MFB debtors. That's on page 4. Apex Bank deploys GSI. And on page 6, wicked Chinese firms assign MOUs to boost power, water in FCT. And how to deepen CNG penetration. This is coming from operators, and that's on page 16. Away from that to another headline: investors take federal government $500 million bond to over subscription. Investors take federal government of Nigeria $500 million bond to over subscription. Experts project 100% into this headline. The story details is on page 2 of the Nation newspaper. Away from that, what APC will discuss at NEC meeting by party. That's also on page 2 of the Nation newspaper. And finally, PDP knocks Kwakwanso for referring to party as dead. That's on page 3. And okay, well, that's all I can give to you on the front page of the Nation newspaper.
All right, moving from the Nation newspaper to the Daily Trust newspaper. 48 people, 50 cows killed in Niger Road accident. And it has one writer which says residents blame speed, bad road. That's on the page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Moving ahead, I still have on the Daily Trust newspaper, OPay money point users kick as federal government imposes electronic levy. Details of this you can find on the page 13 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Moving ahead, I have on page 23, banks colluding with states to bypass fiscal law. That's according to FRC, and it is on the page 23 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Moving ahead, we are owed 30 months allowances, border security personnel cry out, and it has 3 riders. The cry overstay at stations. Another rider here says we are reviewing the process. That's according to customs. And the last rider here says ad hoc arrangement is over. That on the page, details of this is on the page 33 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Moving ahead, we spend 30,000 naira daily to feed 9 new babies. That's according to father of the 9 new babies. It is on the page 3 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Do want to pick up the Daily Trust newspaper to read details of it. Moving ahead, kidnapped Borno judge regains freedom after 2 months. So congratulations to the family of the judge who was freed after 2 months. This is on the page 6. To know details who the judge, the free judge is, it is on the page 6 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Do want to pick it up to read details. Moving ahead, I have my last story on the page 34. Deaths by air pollution more than those of malaria, HIV. That's according to minister. Deaths by air pollution is more than those of malaria and HIV, according to the minister. To know what transpired there, to know what minister uttered the word, it is on the page 34 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And that's all I have on the front page of the Daily Trust.
The next paper is Daily Independent newspaper, and on its front page, Serap gives Tinubu ultimatum to reverse petrol price hike. Details, pick up a copy of Daily Independent newspaper. Kwakwanso inconsequential in Nigerian national politics. This is coming from the People's Democratic Party. And FBN Holdings disputes may Okay, I beg your pardon. I'll take another one there. APC 9 years worse than PDP 16 years. This is coming from ex APC National Vice Chair. That's on page 29. Niger government mourns as multiple accidents claim 48 persons. That's on page 6. How lack of cargo aircraft retard industry growth, and this is by operators. That's also on page 6. Still on page 6, President Tobon re-elected in a landslide in gas-rich Algeria. That's on the foreign scene. And on page 29, moving back to Nigeria, ICPC rallies 36 states, AGs, stakeholders against corruption. That's on page 29. And article is speaking here saying VAT fuel price hike, blazing inferno that may consume Nigerians. The writer says increase is destined to deepen cost of living crisis. And the final reported line on the front page of the Daily Independent newspaper says, I am not barren. Obaseki's wife replies Oshiomole. That's on page 6, and that's all there is on the front page.
All right, the last daily I have with me, and that's the final daily we have here for today. The Punch newspaper. It reveals on the front page, on the page 2, marketers plan petrol imports as NNPCL Dangote's talks drag, and it has two riders: petrol dealers to meet Dangote overpricing, uncertainty over NNPC's September 15 PMS lifting. Another rider here says Ipman laments as NNPC delays supply at depot, and pump price nears 1,250 naira in state. That's on the page 2. Page 2 of the Punch newspaper reveals this. Moving ahead, on strike, ASU government panel to meet on Wednesday. That's on the page 8. In case you're interested in that story, do want to pick up the Punch newspaper to read details. It is on the page 8. Moving ahead, I still have on the page 8 on 4 billion naira illegal arms, 10 charged with terrorism. That's on the page 8 of the Punch newspaper. I do want to pick up the Punch to read details. Moving ahead, I have on page 6, group sues Lagos over $100 million Dangote land deal. That's on page 6 of the Punch. Moving ahead, I still have on the Punch newspaper, Euro-bound cocaine consignment intercepted in sanitary pads. That's on the page 5 of the Punch newspaper. Still have on the Punch newspaper. On page 40, over 1,000 soldiers resign from army in 4 years. That's according to reports, and that's on the page 40. And moving ahead, articles 8, LP and NPP differ on merger plan. That's on page 42 of the Punch newspaper. Do want to pick up the Punch newspaper to read details of it. Moving ahead, I have on page 40 these stories you can find on page 40. Obaseki's ego caused rift with Oshiomole. That's according to APC. And another one still on page 40 says group urges some people to unite for Igodalo. That's on the page 40 of the Punch newspaper. And that's finally on the front newspaper. There is an image there of a fatal accident, and you can get the Punch newspaper to read details of it. And that's all we have on our dailies for today. And that's all we'll be taking for the for the first segment of the morning rush. Right about now, we will go take a breather, and when we come back, we will be going for a break. Yes, a break. And when we come back, we'll give to you details of the stories making headlines.
Need a boost of inspiration? Look no further. The dew of motivation is here. You are listening to Erie 96.1, your favorite radio station for non-stop classics. We are the king.
Nigeria, something big is here. Are you scared of acquiring landed properties due to lack of trust and authenticity? Do you have to wait endlessly to get your red copy survey after every property purchase? Worry no more, because You Fit Homes is here to do things differently while providing solutions to housing challenges in Nigeria, with properties in Abuja, Lagos, Port Harcourt, Ilorin, and now Ibadan. You Fit Homes is here to make you a property owner. Get 50% launch discount off the actual price on our Ibadan property located 10 minutes to the train station at Ido and 10 minutes to Monia train station. We will just issue you a CFO. You also get a red copy survey right after you buy from us. Visit our head office at Block 8, Plot 15, 7 Up Road, Oluyole Main Estate, or call 0812-020-0803 for more enquiries. You Fit Homes, a home for all.
Erie 96.1 FM. We are the king.
You are locked into Erie 96.1 FM, the majestic station that rules the sound waves.
Welcome back to the Morning Rush right here on Erie 96.1 FM. And we are opposite the Nigerian Television Authority, Agodi Gate, Ibadan. Now is the time where we give you details of some of the headlines we read to you earlier on. And now is also the time for you to join the conversation. Lend your thoughts, let them hear your voice. When it's time, call 090 5696 9961. When you want to share your thoughts and lend your opinion on what's we read to you and what is happening in the country, call 090 5696 9961. Another avenue, another platform you can make use of is our social media platforms. We have the Facebook, the X, the TikTok, Instagram. So you can head over to our Facebook page because we are live right there at Erie 96.1 FM Ibadan. That's our Facebook handle. Drop your comment, follow us, like and share. Okay, let's get started. I'm taking the Nation newspaper first. And the story I'm taking from the paper says resident doctors to lose 7 days to pay to strike. Resident doctors to lose 7 days pay to strike. Details says the federal government appears resolute to implement its no work, no pay rule against members of the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, NARD, who embarked on a 7-day strike recently. The doctors embarked on the warning in protest against the government's failure to rescue their colleague, Dr. Ganiya Olawale, who was adopted along with her husband and nephew on December 27 last year. Popola, a registrar in the Department of Ophthalmology at the National Eye Center in Kaduna, and her nephew have remained in captivity while her husband was released last March. 3 days after the strike began, the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare threatened to enforce the no work, no pay policy against the striking doctors. The ministry expressed disappointment that the union went on strike despite being informed of ongoing efforts to address the situation. But there were indications at the weekend that the government was poised not to pay the striking workers for 7 days they did not work. Details gets the Nation newspaper. Okay, let me take this last one. The government decision to apply the rule, according to a source at the ministry who is familiar with the situation, stemmed from concern about the political and public perception implications of decision to implement or abandon the policy. The headline says resident doctors to lose 7 days pay to strike. That's an interesting one. You know, this report just reminds me of, I don't know if the federal government definitely, governments will be working on, getting back the adopted doctor.
Yeah.
There will be, but it's I don't know who we're going to fault in this regard. I mean, if you don't work, like they say, if you don't do the job, you're not expected to.
Yes.
But there
You're
are
not expected to get paid.
their grievances are somewhat acceptable since last year till now. What could be the excuse they would give? Anyways, we are here. We're here to give updates on the story. 09056969961. No work, no pay for resident doctors who embarked on strike to protest the adoption of their colleague, Dr. Ganiyat Popola Olawale.
Still on the morning rush, I have with me the Daily Independent newspaper. That's where I'll be picking my first story from. Serap gives Tinubu ultimatum to reverse petrol price hike. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, a non-governmental organization, has asked President Bola Tinubu to use his leadership position and the good offices to direct the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, to immediately reverse the apparently illegal and unconstitutional increase in the pump price of premium motor spirit, that's what we call PMS, also known as petrol, across its retail outlets within 48 days. In the open letter dated September 7, 2024, signed by SERAP Deputy Director Kolawole Oluwadari, the organization said, and I quote, "The increase in petrol price constitutes a fundamental breach of constitutional guarantees and the country's international human rights obligations." SERAP says Nigerians have for far too long been denied justice and the opportunity to get to the bottom of why they continue to pay the price for corruption in the oil sector. The letter also reads in part, rather than pursuing public policies to address the growing poverty and inequality in the country, your government seems to be punishing the poor. The increase in petrol price has rendered already impoverished citizens incapable of satisfying their minimum needs for survival. The increase is not inevitable as it stems from persistent failure of successive governments to address allegations of corruption and mismanagement in the oil sector and the impunity of suspected perpetrators. Corruption in the oil sector and the lack of transparency and accountability in the use of public funds to support the operations of the NNPC have resulted in persistent and unlawful hike in petrol prices. To read details, it is on the Daily Independent newspaper with the headline, SERAP gives Tinubu ultimatum to reverse petrol price hike. And according to SERAP, I mean, they are giving the presidency the ultimatum to reverse petrol price hike because, according to them, they are punishing the poor. Not only the poor. I mean, even the middle class. I can't talk about the wealthy ones, but it is everyone is affected.
Someone said that as it is in Nigeria, there's no class. We're all on the same level. We're all on the same level.
Yes,
but then, my own opinion, well, as some people would say, is there are so many ultimatums out there.
Yes.
That I'm aware that the president knows. Even if, I mean, SERAP's ultimatum is not the first one, NLC, even if these organizations, these unions don't give ultimatums, even the blind can see what is going on in Nigeria.
Even citizens will start giving the ultimatum now. Maybe another form of, protest. Yes,
we hope that doesn't come up because we really can't stand another protest right now. We really can't stand it. But like somebody would say, Nigerians are tilting, they are pushed to the wall. We never can tell when the breaking point will be. But as far as it is right now, I think President Tinubu is already aware of so many ultimatums. Maybe right now he's even indecisive on which ultimatum he wants to acknowledge.
Yes, we hope that he will be able to address this as soon as possible, because according to Serap, it says that this petrol hike is an illegal and unconstitutional. I mean, it is illegal and unconstitutional because how much do you get petrol in your area? Because according to what I read this morning, it is like they sell at 1,200 and something naira.
Yeah, it's over 1,000 naira.
Yes, it's over 1,000 naira. I mean, please, we need something to be done to.
Last week, as I was going, and I passed the NNPC, and I thought, is it possible if this NNPCL is, really concerned? Can they put in place a system where NNPC can run 24/7?
Yes.
Perhaps we would have a limited what's it called? Hold up. There's this thing, a gathering, queue up at their filling station. Perhaps they can implement a 24 hours operation that you can get. I mean, it's NNPCL. It's NNPC. That's something one would think should come easy. Just put the logistics. But hey, we're Nigeria.
We are in Nigeria.
We have a call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Welcome.
Federal government imposes electronic.
What the Serap said, I think they are right. The Mr. President should revise the fuel pump price now. For some states, they have declared to postpone resumption of school in different states, like Edo and Kano. And if it's not taken, some states they can adopt this system because most of Nigerians, they are living in abject poverty due to cost of living are increasing day by day and inflation. So Mr. President do the needful. And if care is not taken, this thing will continue to bring more affliction to the masses and the small scale business as well. That's my own contribution this morning.
Thank you so much. Mr. Sulaiman, before you go, hold it. Mr. Sulaiman, hello. Oh, okay, we lost the call.
Correct.
I wanted to ask him if, in his own opinion, do you think the NNPC can run 24/7, and would it help the gathering at filling stations? If you think so, call in 090-4696-9961.
Well, come to think of it, I'm just thinking about it. I'm talking about school children. Do you know that it is possible that there will be a lot of children that will drop out of school? Just
the possibility is out there. The possibility is out there.
It's very, very
because apart from transportation, you have to look at food. The feeding is there. School items,
fees,
which would, all those things are. If you're raising a child, if you're training a child, it's not just about the clothes. It's not about the food. There are other things. In fact, right now,
other things you need money to.
You understand, and
to settle,
to be balanced. And let's not even look at the medical system, healthcare, and all that. All those things rely on the price of petrol. If the price of petrol goes up today, best believe that everything you might think is inconsequential, insignificant. I mean, if you want to get biscuits right now, you know how much. I don't think there's 20 naira biscuits. Is there? I don't know. So that's to show you like the spiral effect of the petroleum industry. So there's more to this story. We've been on this since last month. There was a time they said Sunday. Now Sunday has spinned off to 2 Sundays after. We are still having the same conversation. Okay, let's move on. I have one. This is talking about party politics, and it says, still with the Nation newspaper, PDP knocks Kwankwaso for referring to party as dead. The writer says, ex-Ghana governor attained national relevance under PDP banner. Kwankwaso announces ambition to run for president in 2027. Main opposition, People's Democratic Party, has expressed anger at former Kano State Governor Ribadu Musa Kwankwaso for describing the party as dead. On Saturday, during the inauguration of the renovated party office of the new Nigerian People's Party, NNPP, in Katsina State, Kwankwaso said he and his followers left PDP because it is dead. In a WhatsApp message yesterday to reporters, the People's Democratic Party National Publicity Secretary Taiwo Oladosu said the party's reaction to the statement credited to Senator Ribadu Kwankwaso is very inconsequential in the Nigerian national politics today, and judging from the fact that he's struggling to lead a party called NNPP, which is also struggling to control only one state. Details of this, do well to pick a copy of the Nation newspaper. I remember one time on the dialogue we hosted, we had the Oyo State spokesperson, PRO youth leader, right here, and he, as at then we're referring to the Rivers internal talks between FCT minister and Governor Fubara. Now PDP is in story again, and reacting to what a former party member said, and that's an I guess PDP is going to be in the paper for a long time. And another thing that struck me is, it's politics. Ribadu Kwankwaso is already talking 2027. I mean, are we over the last election? Are we over the last presidential election? But it's politics. So, when we say politics, in politics, politicians get ready for the next election at the end of the previous one. So it's interesting to talk about 2027. And I don't know if Nigerians are over
2024, so it is
it's a long time, it's really not a long time for a politician aspiring bidding for the presidential seats. Okay, the response is there. NNPC, Kwankwaso, PDP. Let's see if more is to come from this situation. 09056 969961. That's the number to call.
All right, I have moved ahead to the Punch newspaper. Panel: ASU meets Wednesday over strike threats. The federal government has set up committees to resolve certain grey areas raised by the Academic Staff Union of Universities in an ultimatum issued close to 3 weeks ago. The Vice President, ASU, Professor Crispy Woodner, made this known to our correspondents in Abuja. The committee will meet on September 11, 2024. These were the resolutions made at the end of a closed-door meeting held between ASU's leadership and the representatives of the Federal Ministry of Education headed by Professor Tahir Maman. The meeting is over. Committees were set up to resolve the IPPIS/EAA and salary arrears stuff. The committee is to meet 11th next week, Biwuna said in a terse message to our correspondent. Following resolutions reached at the union's National Executive Council meeting held at the University of Ibadan on August 19, 2024, public university lecturers threatened to go on a nationwide strike over the federal government's failure to honor the 2009 renegotiation agreement. ASU's demands include improvements in welfare and university funding and halting the proliferation of universities nationwide. And the story continues. To read details, it is on the Punch newspaper with the headline: Panel: ASU meet Wednesday over strike threats. What do you have to say about this? What's your take on this story? Call the studio line. It is 09056969961. 09056969961. What do you have to say about ASU's demand? Their demand include improvement in welfare and university funding and halting the proliferation of universities nationwide. Their demand is not too much, is it? I
mean, it's their demand.
It's their demand, and it's their demand. It is a necessity. Yes, it is necessary. So I think the federal government should do something about this as soon as possible. 090.
When it comes to their demands, as demands, really we can't afford another strike. In the education system, we really can't afford another strike. So, and if one is to go through all their demands. It's not a demand that started 2024.
They've been on this for quite some time.
So you realize that something is amiss, there's just a cut in the link. What is the federal government not saying? What are they not saying? Why is it that it's so hard to reach a compromise? Because it's a roll up of demands. A demand they made 2020. 2002, then 2022. Like, it's a rollover of demand. So what is going on? Because right now, an average Nigerian student cannot afford a strike.
Obviously.
09056969961. I'm with another paper, the Nigerian Tribune, right now, and the story I'm taking says, "Pray for Nigeria's deliverance. Atiku charges Nigerians." Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has urged Nigerians in diaspora to pray for Nigeria's deliverance and be optimistic despite the country's current socio-economic challenges. During a virtual interactive section on Saturday, Atiku emphasized the importance of collective efforts in shaping Nigeria's future. He acknowledged the hardship faced by millions of Nigerians due to the economic downturn and rising poverty. Atiku recognized the significant role Nigerians abroad play in shaping the country's future, citing their unique perspective on good governance and economic management. Atiku also expressed confidence in Nigeria's potential, stressing the need for collective efforts to overcome current challenges. Abubakar said Nigerians in diaspora play a big role in shaping the country's future. For details and more to this story, do well to pick a copy of the Nigerian Tribune. The headline says, "Pray for Nigeria's deliverance. Atiku charges Nigerians."
Still on the NAFDAC, still on the Punch newspaper. Do not forget you're still on to Erie 96.1 FM Ibadan, and this is the Morning Rush with Taiwo and Oluwaseun. I have on the Punch newspaper, NAFDAC investigating Pastor Jeremiah's miracle water and miracle soap. That's according to DG. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control has alerted Nigerians to the activities of a faith-based organization, Christ Mercy Land Delivery Ministries, led by Prophet Jeremiah Fufeyi, using the agency's name to deceive the unsuspecting public. NAFDAC, in its statement on Sunday signed by its Director General, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, noted that none of the products advertised and sold are registered with the agency. It said NAFDAC wishes to alert the public on the activities of a faith-based organization, Christ Mercy Land Delivery Ministry, that uses NAFDAC name to deceive the unsuspecting public. And the story continues. To read details, it is on the Punch newspaper with a headline, NAFDAC investigating Pastor Jeremiah's miracle water and miracle soap. That's according to DG. So Nigerians, we have to be careful out there.
Well, it's when it comes to this, we all have to be at alert. If you see something, say something. For people that think they are exempted, you really never can tell when it comes around to bite at you.
I mean, when it comes to religion, Nigerians are really, really into it. So I don't want to say much about this, but we just really have to be careful out there.
That's it. Okay, let me move on to Daily Trust newspaper. We've not been paid 30-month allowances, border security personnel cry out. And this story made the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper. We've not been paid 30-month allowances, border security personnel cry out. Some Nigerian Customs Service and the Nigerian Immigration Service personnel deployed to man Nigeria's land borders have decried the non-payment of their allowances for 2.5 years, leaving them in deplorable working condition. The personnel claimed that they have been stationed at borders for over 5 years, dating back to the previous administration, a situation they said was unusual and discouraging. Reports says that the immediate former National Security NSA Major General Babangana Mongunu then said that porous border had remained a major source of concern as they aided smuggling of prohibited items and irregular migration, as well as other transactional organized crime and human trafficking. Mongunu disclosed this in Paris, France in 2021 at the Nigeria International Partnership Forum held on the sideline of the Paris Peace Forum. The statement came months after the formation of the Joint Border Patrol by his office. He further said the Nigeria border is bordered to the north by Niger Republic, to the east by Chad and Cameroon, and to the south by Gulf of Guinea and the Atlantic Ocean, and to the west by Benin Republic. One of the security operatives deployed to the borders told a news organization yesterday that they are in a dire situation and they've been deployed to borders since President Buhari's administration, and yet they've not received any allowances for 2.5 years. The personnel who spoke on condition of anonymity described their living condition as miserable and appealed to authorities to address their plight. Speaking further, the personnel said because of this situation, when they are deprived of their allowances for months, some bad elements among them turn into moves to compromise efforts to tackle insecurity in the land. There's more to the story. Do well to pick a copy of the Daily Trust newspaper. While reacting to this development, the customs spokesman Abdullahi Wada said the service was aware of the situation and was reviewing the process. It said the whole process was started in 2019, which is known as a Joint Border Patrol Team, and is coordinated by the Office of the National Security Advisor. And what he can say is the Nigeria Customs Service is only consolidating on the process they met on ground. And these are ad hoc exercises being carried out, and a current review is being undertaken, and they will definitely get across to whoever is involved in this. The headline says, from the Daily Trust newspaper, the headline says, "We've not been paid 30-month allowances, border security personnel cry out." Another angle. 09056969961. That's the number to call to be a part of this morning's conversation. 09056969961.
All right, I have with me the last daily. I'll be reading the Daily Trust newspaper, and this is coming like a notice to the general public. Deaths by air pollution more than those of malaria, HIV combined. That's according to Minister. The Minister of State for Environment, Dr. Isiaq Adekunle Salako, has said air pollution is the second leading risk factor for premature deaths, resulting in around 8.1 million deaths annually, stressing that this is more than the deaths associated with malaria and HIV combined. He stated this at the weekend during an event to mark the second International Day of Clear Air for Blue Skies in Abuja. Dr. Salako said research had confirmed that air pollution was directly linked to dementia and Alzheimer's disease, aside from responsible for ailments such as stroke, heart disease, lung cancer, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and acute respiratory infections. He said there is a growing concern globally about air pollution and the threat poor air posed to human existence. We have a caller. Hello. Hello. Okay, we lost that call. All right. Beyond the direct adverse effects of health, air pollution from greenhouse gases, short-lived climate pollutants, black carbon, and so on are the core of global warming, which is the driver of climate change, climate disasters with loss of lives, food insecurity, economic losses, migration, and physical insecurity challenges. He said. To read more, to know more, it is on the Daily Trust newspaper with the headline, Deaths by Air Pollution More Than Those of Malaria, HIV combined. That's according to Minister. So to the general public, we have to be careful and imbibe the habit of cleanliness. We have to clean our environment. We have to watch what we eat, what we drink, make our environment, clean as possible.
Yeah, that's right. And one thing people, and thank God it's been pointed out, air pollution is one factor that many people may think it's not significant. You burn things, it's up in the air, your vehicle produces some kind of smoke, you name it, it's all up in the air and you breathe it in. So whether you like it or not, we all are contributing it, regardless of how we're all in this. You understand? So let's just do the needful. Let's be mindful as much as possible. Let's be mindful of what we put up in the air. We have to go, Taiwo. We have to go.
Yes, it's time to go. But before we go, let's quickly look up a Facebook page. We have to see what is happening there. On our Facebook page, we have a few viewers and a lot of comments. Olashinde Habib Kamadukwe says, well done. From Okpeyemi area, Gbagi in Ibadan. Thank you. Agunbiadi Sheriff Agils says good morning. Taufik Akim Banuso says good morning, and few others that we won't be able to take. Thank you. We're glad that you are there with us. And to our caller,
yes, to our caller, Mr. Sulaiman, thank you so much for calling and sharing your thoughts this morning. It's very much appreciated. And we want to thank everyone that listened, everyone that joined live on our Facebook page. Thank you so much for spending your 1 hour this morning with us. We have to go. More programs are coming. Join me by 5 p.m. on the Drive Time Show. Join me by 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on the Drive Time Show. I still remain Oluwaseun Ogunrotimi. Good morning and enjoy the rest of your day.
And join me at 4:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. on the Raya Kiddies Show. Yes, like I said on Friday, Raya Kiddies Show is now every day, Mondays to Fridays at 4:30 to 5 p.m. Do not go anywhere. We have a lot of amazing programs coming up shortly. And up next at 8 a.m. is Kpakpa Ishiri. Do not go anywhere.
Spark? Need a boost of inspiration? Look no further. The dew of motivation is here. You are listening to Erie 96.1, your favorite radio station.